Ah! Tennessee Titans fans, we're here because Rex Ryan had something to say about Will Levis on NFL something or another, one of them shows on ESPN. Get Up is the name of the show. Rex Ryan giving his thoughts on Will Levis.
For their first win of the
one play in particular he's giving his thoughts on.
Season against the Titans. Here's the play that changes the entire game. Titans are dominating. They're upset.
You might say, how does it change the entire game? It's 8:45 to go in the second quarter. Why does it change the entire game? Two reasons. Number one, this game had been all Titans up until this point. Defense was playing outstanding. Offense had already had one drive where they went down there and scored a touchdown. Everything felt good. Everybody was excited. And look at where they are. They're all the way down there at the 6-yard line. Now, it's 3rd and goal. And assuming nothing's open, yeah, you go down, you take the sack, whatever. Let's get 3 points and go up by 2 possessions. That's why it's the turning point of the game. It was all Titans up until this point. We were dominating the game, and then this.
7-0. They're going in to score again, and then Will Levis, Dan, does this.
I can't believe Carson Wentz did it again. No, I mean, Greeny, you can't do this. Unacceptable. If you're a mouth reader, Brian Callahan agrees. And the fact that you take the points off the board for nothing, a massive mistake.
They score right there. Titans probably winning this game.
Well, they were already winning the game. But he may have meant they would have literally won. I don't know. I mean, I hate to go down that road of like, if this happens, then what would have happened? I mean, there's just no way to know. We'll never know. But Carson Wentz on that particular play is a good comparison. That is some crap that Carson Wentz would have done. And let me say this. I thought that Will Levis was better yesterday than he was in week 1. I talked about it on my podcast today. You can check it out on the channel. Episode 103. I thought Will Levis was better yesterday than he was last week. With that being said, it still wasn't good enough. You can't do that. You cannot make that play once, let alone twice. You've done it twice now. You did some good things over the course of this game. You did some not so good things, but that you just can't do that. You cannot do that.
This week I said he point shaved. I don't know what you call that.
It turns the whole game around. Then it's the oldest player in the NFL throwing a touchdown to the youngest player in the NFL. Rodgers to Braylon Allen. The Jets tie it up at 7. 3rd quarter, Jets are down 10-7. How about this throw and catch?
Unbelievable. Breece Hall asks.
Why is Kenneth Murray covering Breece Hall? You know, like that. The defense. I hate to zero in on the defense because the defense has just been so much better than the offense. Statistically, I think the Titans may be the best defense in the NFL right now through 2 weeks. But why is Kenneth Murray covering Breece Hall?
For this in the timeout, he gets the matchup on the linebacker, beats him off the line of scrimmage. A beautiful throw, better catch.
Jets go up 14-10. Game is tied. 7 minutes left. Here's the big play. Garrett Wilson on a 3rd and 1.
Greeny. First of all, this freaking throw is sick. Second of all, the adjustment by Garrett to go looking this way.
Okay, 2 things I want to say. First of all, you could have at least included the touchdown to Calvin Ridley just because Calvin made an unbelievable play. I mean, that was the catch of the day. It's going to be one of the best catches of the year. You could have at least put that highlighted there. Second of all, this play right here, yes, L'Jarius Sneed got beat, but that's an Aaron Rodgers throw. I mean, and Garrett Wilson, obviously an incredibly talented wide receiver, but that's an Aaron Rodgers, like he can still do that. That's an Aaron Rodgers throw.
To track it running full speed in that moment and make the catch, absolutely absurd.
Yeah, real-time Iron Eagle called it a Willie Mays catch, which was a great call. And then it's Allen taking it in for his 2nd touchdown in the J. Jets have a little like thunder and lightning kind of backfield with Breece Hall and that young kid and Robert Saleh happy as the Jets get the victory 24-17, and so they are going to have another short week as they will play New England on Thursday night. I think, and look, I mean, you know me, my inclination is to start with the Jets in most cases, but I think we have to start with Will Levis. And Dan, you made the point.
Now y'all won't talk about Titans. Now y'all won't talk about Will Levis. I get it.
Point. After what he did last week, just gave a game away against the Bears. you would have thought this was the last thing in the world you would have a problem with this week.
Yeah, I mean, this team is 2-0 if they had Mason Rudolph playing quarterback. And coming.
Hold on, Dan. Oh, hold on. I do think they're kind of oversimplifying the narrative here. This was with over 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. I think it's a little... Now, in week one, yes. No excuse for Titans to lose that game. This, you're trying to blame one play on an entire... You're trying to blame an entire loss on one play. This play was horrible. I'm not taking away from that. But you also have to think about another blocked punt. You have to think about, play calling that I thought was very scared at times. There was more to it than this play. I get the significance of this play. I don't know if it's as simple as just saying they would be 2-0 if he didn't do that. I think you could definitely say they could be 1-1 if he didn't do this stuff, because the week one was still even a little more egregious than this one to me. But it's a significant play, and it should be talked about because it is hurting the team. I don't want to take away from that. I just think it's an oversimplification to just say if this play didn't happen, they would have won. That's a stretch.
Off of last week and what he did against the Bears, and I saw Bill Belichick kind of talk about him and Tom Brady talked about these situations, and whatever you're trying to pull off is not worth that 1 or 2 yards that you might.
Take a look. I didn't notice this originally.
Whatever you're trying to pull off is not.
This is Dylan Radins on the ground back here.
Worth that 1 or 2 yards.
I don't know if it was in reaction to seeing the play or if it was just if he was hurt or something, but Dylan Radins says it all back
yards that you might get. And here's the thing, when it's in time and in rhythm, Levis is so impressive. When he gets into these adrenaline type of moments, through 2 weeks, that's your concern if you're Brian Callahan.
Coach Belichick used to always tell us more teams find ways to lose games than win them. That's a classic.
That's correct. I say it all the time. I say it all the time. Some teams find ways to win. Some find ways to lose. Some teams find ways to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Some teams find ways to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. And right now, at this point in time, the Titans are a team who is actively finding ways to lose. I talked about it on my podcast today, episode 103. You can click on the channel and go watch. You can't expect to win and have a blocked punt in every single game you play. You can't expect to win and have a quarterback making boneheaded plays like that. You can't expect to win when the play caller doesn't seem to trust his quarterback or his offensive line. You can't expect to win when an offensive line can't protect the quarterback. You can't expect to win when a defense, as great as they have played, not generating any turnovers. You can't expect to win. When you're losing just the turnover battle alone, when you're losing the turnover battle the way the Titans have through the first 2 weeks, you just can't expect to win games. Can't expect to win games. He's right.
Example, you're literally taking points off the board by doing something so selfish.
I mean, and that's what it is. It is selfish. Like, this guy plays like he's Brett Favre. You ain't Brett Favre. You know, you got a chance. He can throw it. He's all that.
He's got a lot of good things. I mean, you watch him play. He does so many things well.
When it looks like it's supposed to look, it's pretty.
And look, can we show last week's? Do we have last week? Oh, you guys are the best. You're not great. You're the best. Nice job. And that's when I shouldn't have said point shaving, but by God, when you're sitting back, I got to go home to Tennessee, Nashville, brag about my Titans. I'm not bragging. I'm sitting back going, what the hell are you doing, Will Levis?
Yeah, we're all saying it, Rex. I mean, I think everything they're saying is valid, though. I do think it's an oversimplification to say the play yesterday lost the game, but I get what they're saying, though. They're saying it hurt the team. It hurt their chances of winning, and that's correct. And I agree, I think, with what they're saying, that when it looks good, it looks good. There are some... I know we're all sad that we're 0-2, and it's easy to get negative on everything. There are good things that he does. You can go back yesterday. I like the fact that he's not afraid to air it out. I like the fact that he's not afraid to just throw it up to Calvin Ridley and give him a shot to make a play. He's getting paid $92 million. He should get a chance to do that. I like the fact, like the play where he got away from multiple guys to run down to the 10-yard line on that last drive of the game. That was a great play by Will. It really was. He also missed Calvin Ridley for a game-tying touchdown on 1st and 10. Dan Orlovsky may say something about that here because he's the one who called attention to it on Twitter. But there are good things there. There are things to work with. But this stuff negates it. You got to stop doing this. Levis said, I've got to rewire my brain. Yeah, dude, this ain't the University of Kentucky. It didn't even work there. It sure ain't going to work here.
2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row you cost this football team.
I honestly thought, as upset as Callahan was, and you mentioned lip reading, I thought he might bench him for that just because 2 weeks in a row, you can't have that. You just can't do it, and you have to send a message that we just can't. They absolutely, look, nothing can be proved of this kind. In my opinion, they absolutely win that game if they just kick a field goal there. If they just kick a field goal in that spot, the Titans were in total control of the
I get what they're saying. I hate playing that game because you just don't know hypotheticals, But one thing that you can say without a shadow of a doubt, it hurt the team and it took points off the board, and you can't do that if you're any position, but especially if you are the quarterback who is auditioning to be the quarterback for years to come.
This game at that point, I guess we don't know what happens.
Yeah, and I know Callie, he's about as mild-mannered as it comes. To watch him kind of be that frustrated says a lot.
Yep.
If they can get that out of his game, and I think that's a massive if, they got a really good player.
I agree.
They have to.
Yeah.
They have to get it out of his game.
Yeah.
They do.
Or you're going to end up, losing games consistently over and over and over for the
To that point, I'm not saying you bench him forever, but just to send, just so he gets it. We can't have that. That said, very quickly, you used one good word. What did the Jets find yesterday?
Identity. Identity on offense. I think two of the things.
Okay, I don't care about the Jets. So, I agree with what they're saying. I really do. I don't know if I agree that they should bench Will because, in my opinion, I am of the belief we're seeing it with Carolina today. Carolina has announced they're benching Bryce Young. To me, there's no going back from that. Like, I don't think the Panthers are going to just be able to go back later and say, no, we really want Bryce to be the franchise quarterback. But we want, no, I don't think you can do that. I think when you bench a young guy like that, it's over. Like, it's done. And so, to me, I think it's a mistake by the Panthers to bench Bryce Young because they don't have a future with Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's not going to be the franchise quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, okay? So to do that, you're pretty much saying we give up on Bryce Young, and I don't know why you would do that at this point. At least see it through, and if it keeps going this way, if you get to the halfway point of the season or something, then have a different conversation. That's why the Titans should not bench Will Levis, because I think if you bench him, there's no going back. You put Mason Rudolph, I think it's an oversimplification to say if they put Rudolph in, they win. I don't know about that, but I just don't think there's any going back. I don't think you bench a guy and then you're able to put him back in next week and him, he loses, if he feels like they don't have confidence in him and they benched him and all of this, especially if Rudolph goes in there and wins, then it's for sure over for Levis and his future with Tennessee. So I don't know if I agree with the idea that they should have benched him right then and there. I think there's a way to send a message to the team and to Will Levis that we're not putting up with this. There is a way to send that message without benching him, because I just think if you bench him at this point, 2 weeks into the season now, this ain't week 12, this is week 2, I think that's just a massive overreaction. I think it's a massive overreaction by the Panthers, to bench Bryce Young at this point. I don't know what there is to gain from it, and I think it would be a massive overreaction for the Titans, not to mention Will Levis has played better than Bryce Young. I mean, he has, but like they said, there's some good things there, and I think you kind of mess it up, those good things, if you bench him, because then how do you go back on that? So, but everything else they said, I absolutely agree with. He's got you just can't do it. You can't do. You're hurting your team. And I know last week Will Levis said he didn't lose any sleep over it, and he's just going to keep playing his game. I ain't saying you got to lose sleep, my guy, but it better bother you. It better bother you that you have given up points and you have hurt this team 2 weeks in a row. As, like I said, you are auditioning to be the guy for them for years to come. You got to do better, man. Got to do better.